if you'd have met me a few years ago, well, all right then, quite a few years ago, I might have been on that bandwagon of have a positive mental attitude, PMA is everything, think about it and it will come to you. And then I had a kind of a road to Damascus experience. I had a thought that went, do you know what? There are people out there who are thinking positive and maybe it's not always working. They're visualizing success and it's maybe not always happening. So I decided to get a little bit more real about this message. And I think there's a lot of rubbish out there spoken about PMA. There's a lot of making it seem like it's something magical, like the universe is going to give stuff to you. Now, this is not an anti-PMA video. I'd like to stress that. In fact, this is definitely a pro having a good attitude video. But I want to tell you that it takes more than just having a positive attitude. However, if we have a negative attitude, we can absolutely guarantee stuff is not going to work. Things are going to go wrong. We're going to be focusing on the wrong stuff. Let me give you a bit of an example. Many years ago, I decided I wanted to learn to surf. Yes, many years ago. And I mean, I loved it. I used to do a lot of skateboarding. I'd been in the martial arts. I'd done a lot of physical stuff. So surfing, I thought, was going to be, all right, not a doddle, but I thought it would be one of those things I'd be quite good at. So I got a wetsuit for Christmas. Brilliant. Got a wetsuit for Christmas and off we went down to St. Ives in Cornwall. Beautiful area. Went to the beach, booked myself my first surfing lesson. And there I was on my first surfing lesson with a load of people around me. Young kid next to me, probably about 8 years old, you know. And I thought, he's going to struggle because he's just a little kid, right? But hey, I'm like the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. I'll be great at this. And we practiced. I know many of you will have done this. You'll have practiced surfing and they give you that big spongy type board. And we all had the same spongy type board, even the little kid who probably only weighed a couple of stone. And we're practicing on the sand, you know, with a hard floor underneath us. And we're practicing this thing called the pop-up. Some of you will know this. The pop-up is when you go from lying down on the board to standing in one move. It kind of sounds physically impossible like that. Well, we're on the sand doing this, so we've got a hard floor underneath us. I'm lying on the board and our the surf dude instructor's busy going, okay, 3, 2, 1, everybody, here we go. And we imagine 3, 2, 1, pop up. Well, I was a fitness instructor. I did loads of this kind of stuff. I could pop up. I'm going, yeah, I could almost hear the Hawaii Five-0 music in the background. You know, I'm going to be great at this. Little kid's struggling a little bit. He's got no muscle to him and he goes up on one knee and he gets up there. Then the surf dude says, okay, everyone, we're going to go down to the sea. So I pick up my board and I don't know, I Baywatch it down. All right then, no, I just ran down to the sea. I've got my board and I go out into the water and I get onto the board to practice the pop-up. Practicing this pop-up. So the sea or a wave catches the back of the board lifts and I go 1, 2, 3 and I press hard down on the front nose of the board. And some of you will be ahead of me on this. If you press really hard down on the front of a board with water underneath it, what's going to happen? The back of the board came straight up, smack, right in the back of the head, straight into face plant in the water, face into the sand. Yes, the sand. Why? Because beginner surfers don't go out where the water's deep. There's probably only a couple of feet, maybe even not even that. Straight down into the sand. Oh! I can do this. See, I've got a positive attitude, right? I'm going to be great at this. Positive attitude. I get back on the board. I do the same thing again. Only this time I push harder on the board. That's what I need to do. Push harder. Same thing happens. Bang. Do it several times. Bang. Bang. Oh, Struth, I am getting a headache. And I go and I sit on the sand. And I watch the little kid coming in. Now imagine he's about 2 stone wet through. He's coming in. And I promise you I'm not exaggerating. He comes in doing a headstand on his board. I might accidentally have knocked it with my leg as I walked past it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm there. I'm going, oh no, I ought to be good at this. And I'm feeling a little bit despondent because I've got a really good attitude. I believed in myself. I was positive. For the next week, I go out every day. I keep my chin up. I remember what the surf dude Alex said. Okay, so I'm standing on it. I'm keeping my chin up. I'm keeping my focus. And I'm gradually getting better. The point I'm making is having a positive attitude doesn't give you everything immediately. But what it does do is stop you being too despondent. I went back for another lesson in a couple of weeks' time, and there was a young lady there with her I think it was a new boyfriend. He seemed to have dragged her along, and she just kept saying, I'm never going to be able to do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. She went out into the sea. I went out into the sea. We start to practice. And of course, this time I'm a lot better. Okay. When I say a lot better, I'm considerably better than I was the first time. And she's falling off it, and she's getting gradually more despondent and telling herself she can't do it. Halfway through the lesson, I'm a little bit tired. So I go to sit on the sand, and she is already sitting there. And she turned around to me and said, you're obviously a natural. It's an honesty point, isn't it? Do I tell her at this point? Do I tell her, or do I go, yes, that's right, I'm a natural? No. I turn around and say, no, I'm not a natural. I've been practicing for the last week on this first thing. The difference between me and that young lady was nothing to do with our physical skill. Yes, I had a good attitude. I believed in myself. The difference was she didn't believe in herself, and therefore she abandoned it. What I'm trying to say is, having a positive mental attitude is not the answer to everything. Having a negative attitude will absolutely shoot you in the foot. It will stop you achieving your best. It will stop you fulfilling your potential. Having a positive attitude will be the springboard to most likely get you where you want to get. But you still have to put the effort in. You still have to drill the skill. But you can still help you focus on becoming the best version of you and really achieving your potential.